there is a key question you need to ask. Where is the demand coming from? In this episode, I'm going to cover the topic of supply and demand from the point of view of a fellow home buyer. Let me share with you my thoughts on two questions. Firstly, who controls the fate of the property market? And secondly, why we can't create demand in the property market. Not long ago, some company spokespersons told us that property prices will continue to go up. It is because developers have acquired land plots at record prices. That's why they have to launch new projects at high prices. So home buyers have no choice but to buy new homes at even higher prices. It sounds logical to think that if the cost of raw materials go up, the prices of end products will go up too. Then consumers have no choice but to buy at high prices. But will end users buy the bullet? Well, it depends. These spokespersons all forgot the fundamental questions. Who foots the bill of the whole property industry? Who is the last but the most important party in the property ecosystem? Who decides the property cycle to move from one stage to the next? It is not the developers, property agencies, mortgage banks, industry analysts, the media, or even the government. It is the home buyers, the property investors, and the tenants. You might say that it is the government who controls the fate of the Singapore housing market by introducing cooling measures or timing the release of government land sales and BTO flats. Yes, the government definitely has a role to play, but to some extent only. If the government can effectively control the fate of the property market, why if it had to launch 8 rounds of cooling measures from 2009 to 2013, not just one round, to finally tame the overheated private housing market? In the mid-2000s, why the government introduced so many measures to stimulate the property market, yet prices still fell for 5 straight years? Whether there are cooling or stimulating measures, high or low property prices, the market still needs buyers to react to them. That goes to our second question, why we can't create demand in the property market. Properties is different from consumer products. You can create customer demand for an iPhone, a new dessert, or a new fashion brand. But when it comes to real estate, what makes you think that if you build, they will come? And what if after you build, they won't come? According to URA latest figures, there are 4,100 units launched but unsold as of last month. Altogether, there are 17,100 unsold units. Last month, a new project, VVA, managed to draw a crowd of 1,000 during the private preview. But a week later, at the first weekend launch, the developer only sold 32 units out of a total of 455 units. A 7% sales is a far cry from 70 or 80% sold at the new launches last year this time. The same for the Woodland Residences first launch last November. An impressive crowd of 2,000 gathered at the sales gallery at the preview. But developer only moved 30 units off the shelves for the first weekend. To get maximum coverage in the media, Woodland Residences has gone through 3 launches from last November to this May, namely pre-launch, official launch, and relaunch. It is only after giving 9% discount to buyers and high commission to agents that they managed to move another 74 units in May. In March of the Florence Residences, only 54 units or 3.8% of 1,410 units were sold during the first weekend. Does this photo look familiar? It was taken at the Durian Buffet Festival last weekend. Anyway, these days, the new launch somehow has a similar photo in the news to show an enthusiastic crowd waiting eagerly to buy the new units. And after the first weekend, the media will automatically applause the satisfactory results regardless of the number of units sold. We see mostly sales and marketing activities like advertising, editorial, sold fairs, and launch preview, but not much buying activities like closing deals, locking of transactions. New project launches in Singapore have become more a project show or a product showcase rather than anything else. URA just released last month's data on prices of private residential units sold by developers. I made a table here showing the top 15 new launch projects with the highest percentage of unsold units. All of them have over 50% units unsold. In fact, more than half of them are over 80 or 90% unsold. To all the property agents out there, these are the projects that urgently need your help. Last July, at our Winners seminar, a spokesperson from JLL said the supply pipeline of 50,000 units can be absorbed by the market as long as developers launch new projects in intervals and pays out the unsold stocks, and there won't be any supply gauge in the market. The next day, a Channel News Asia article had the headline, "Private housing market unlikely to head into oversupply situation." Those spokespersons who claim that the market can absorb the supply, please come forward. We need your help to absorb the unsold units. This week, a Straits Times article said, property developers under pressure from a substantial pipeline pushed out 9 new projects last month. However, this article also said 70% of new sales in May came from earlier launches. A spokesperson from CBRE said, should take-up remain at current levels, it is likely that some developers may launch at lower prices. Business Times article reminds buyers that after end of school holiday, developers are racing to launch their new projects in the coming months. The developers are obviously not being good boys by failing to release new projects in intervals and pacing out their unsold stocks. They are going to swarm the market, and home buyers are going to be spoiled for choices and buy time for better offers. Does that remind you of the Johor properties? At the end of last year, 6,000 unsold units worth 3.8 billion ringgit were left in the Johor property market. Singapore buyers who bought at the peak of the market in 2013 saw the completed high-end condo units kept falling in prices, with no tenants coming to rent and no foreign or local buyers in the second-hand market. When you see there are only buying activities in the first-hand market, but no subsequent activities in the property ecosystem, such as leasing to tenants and resale transactions in the second-hand market, the market is only for transfer of ownership titles from developers to buyers. There is no real market demand for the product. Lesson learned. Developers can mass produce new projects, but they cannot produce buyers or tenants to own and occupy them. They can create supply, but they cannot create demand. Next time, before you buy into any property hotspot, ask yourself 3 questions. Number 1, what are the industries there and how can they support the growth of the local economy? Number 2, how is the salary growth of the existing population compared with the hike in property prices? Last question, where is the new population coming from and how fast can it grow? If you can't find satisfactory answers to these questions, you may be buying into the next property ghost town. Thanks for watching. Remember to check out my blog and subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you next time.